Nham, 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 nham.
Eu nem estou entendendo a realidade. Será que eu compro um Vocaloid?
Nham, 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 nham. Quê?
Será que eu compro uma skin de um Vocaloid?
Eu sei lá, pula.
E nem sendo honesto.
Se eu fosse honesto com tudo, eu ia só falar, eu sei lá, porra pra tudo. Genuinamente.
Meu Deus. Esse é o cara que vocês chamam de gerente? É. Brincadeira. O nome da live, fazendo música.
Ai, sabe, ficar uma batida maneira. Ô, pula. Calalho. Calaio.
O quê?
Puta que pariu! Morreu! 500 linhas. Tá. Tá, vamos ver até onde a gente consegue estender isso antes de ficar repetitivo. Vou aumentar pra 140 só pra gente ter uma ideia. My compass was swallowed by the sea. My compass was swallowed by the sea. Na 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 na.
Ah, já volto rapidinho, beleza?
Ok. Nham, 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 nham. Hold on tight. My compass is curiosity. My compass is curiosity. até onde a gente conseguir com isso. Tá uma merda. Já sei o que tá faltando. Nah. Acho que essa merda não tá nem. Ah, porra. Essa do zero. Hum, Não sei, sem ideia. Ai, que saco.
In between the counting, we can stick in an So, and by putting your stuff on the us, we can really drive things forward. Normal hi-hat.
What the. Oi.
If we play the Elegy of Emptiness while wearing a mask, we create a statue that looks like the soul within the mask. So I hypothesize that if we can somehow play this song while wearing the Fierce Deity's mask, then maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to see the true origin of this mask. Now unfortunately, the game prevents us from using the ocarina while wearing the Fierce Deity's mask, but there is a way to trick the game into pulling it out for us instead. After fighting Egos to Ikana, there are a few moments between when you beat him and the cutscene where he teaches you the Elegy of Emptiness. This cutscene forces Link to play the song, regardless of which mask he's wearing. On top of this, the 3DS and Nintendo 64 versions of the game each contain a pretty easy glitch that lets you put on the Fierce Deity's mask almost anywhere. So now let's tie these two techniques together so we can see whose soul is really behind the Fierce Deity's mask. And there we have it. The Fierce Deity was indeed Link all along. If we play the Elegy of Emptiness while wearing a mask, we create a statue that looks like the soul within the mask. So I hypothesized that if we can somehow play this song while wearing the Fierce Deity's mask, then maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to see the true origin of this mask. Now unfortunately, the game prevents us from using the ocarina while wearing the Fierce Deity's mask, but there is a way to trick the game into pulling it out.
So, I just had a really dumb idea in Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, and some light spoilers ahead, including the end of a story dungeon and a few cool things from a previous game. In Tears of the Kingdom, you can find and also purchase a fantastic fuse item called the Ancient Blade, which is intended to be fused to an arrow like an ancient arrow in Breath of the Wild, but it only has one use before it disappears forever. But I had a really dumb idea. What if I fused an Ancient Blade with a Forest Dweller's weapon? Forest Dweller weapons have an incredible ability that lets them reuse items that would otherwise be used only once on a different item. But what would happen if I fused an ancient arrow to it? So I set out to find a Forest Dweller's weapon and an ancient blade, which you can also buy for 50 Zonite at this construct at the end of the Spirit Temple, and fuse them together. So with our new Dollar Tree one-hit obliterator, let's go test it out. Okay, so there's a boss goblin over there, so let's see if it works. It looks like it didn't work. Well, that was a waste of a good ancient blade. So, I just had a really dumb idea in Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, and some light spoilers ahead, including the end of a story dungeon and a few cool things from a previous game. In Tears of the Kingdom, you can find—
Which one of you idiots wrote this script?
I did.
Oh, would you write it like on a computer?
Yeah?
So you know a lot about computers?
Yeah.
Can you show me how to turn off the flashlight on my phone?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to apologize.
Why did you say ladies first? That's sexist.
Gentlemen and ladies,
Who says the man?
humans in the audience,
I identify as a basketball.
humans and basketballs.
I'm a parrot who mimics words but doesn't comprehend them.
You know what?
All those goats are males.
Well, the buckets are full and the goats are happy. I just hope word doesn't get around.
I like good times.
You okay? You guys okay?
Great seats. Yeah, it's a whole different game when you sit down here.
Well, I got the results of your ultrasound, and I got some news for you.
Wait. We don't want to know if it's a boy or a girl.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not breathing. Which one of you idiots wrote this script?
I did.
Oh, would you write it like on a computer?
Yeah.
Auto-tune is way more.
When she was just 13, I was 31. I said, little girl, let's have some fun. I'm gonna marry that girl, 13 years old. I'm gonna marry that girl that's 13 years of age. Well, I took her to the church after school. She's just 13 and she's my cousin too. And if her daddy gets mad, one of these days, I'll shoot him in the head with his own 12 gauge. I'm gonna marry that girl, 13 years old. I'm gonna marry that girl that's 13 years of age.
Oi, Luiz, bem-vindo.
É sobre o que é a transição?
A propósito, essa é a sua espada, eu nunca vi uma igual. Guarde conteúdo. Compre um. E paizão. Que seu senso de humor é ótimo, mas você vai aprender que não se pode brincar com tudo.
tamanho da minha pica. Deixa a novinha loura.
Olá, Lucas! Eu tô soube que tá respeitando o teu pai, tá sendo super-herói.
Just gonna stand there and watch me burn.
Voltei.
Essa família é muito.
What are you doing?
What?
What on earth are you doing?
Making a Milo?
That's not how you make a Milo.
Well, this is how I like my Milos.
Your ratio is all off.
You fill a glass with milk, you add a couple spoons of Milo.
No, are you an animal?
Jackson, everyone does it like this.
Do you need to be educated?
No.
Get out the way. Firstly, this is too small. You're gonna need one of these bad boys. Secondly, Milo first, then the milk.
Well, that's a war crime.
We go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Jackson.
Shut your mouth. 5, 6, 7.
Jackson!
This is the Australian way. 8, 9.
How do you expect to drink that?
Drink it? Oh yeah, the milk.
Não. Vocês querem gravar um. Ah.
Good morning, Link. It's time to save Hyrule again, but this time you have my arm. Don't do anything weird with it. Anyways, that arm can help you do some pretty cool stuff. Anyways, why don't you get out there and save the land like you always— oh my god!
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Good morning, Link. It's time to save Hyrule again.
Quando você tem a ideia de uma tatuagem que vai se espalhando pelo corpo, mas arrega por causa da dor. Meu cliente tinha a marca da maldição do Sasuke de Naruto e queria fazer ela se espalhando pelo ombro e pescoço, mas arregou no meio da sessão. A tatuagem mal tinha começado e ele já estava mastigando a roupa de dor. A ideia era fazer com que parecesse que estivesse queimando e virando a marca igual no anime. Tivemos a ideia de fazer as bordas num tom mais avermelhado para dar uma diferenciada nela. Uma hora de tatuagem ele já não aguentava mais tatuar, porque era uma tatuagem bem pigmentada e preenchida. Então decidimos parar e continuar numa próxima sessão, porque vamos subir pro pescoço e descer mais as marcas. Esse foi o resultado da primeira sessão. Comenta se está curtindo essa ideia diferente das marcas da maldição. Quando você tem a ideia de uma tatuagem que vai se espalhando pelo corpo, mas arrega por causa da dor. Meu cliente tinha a marca da maldição do Sasuke de Naruto e queria fazer
$10,100 years in the past, a giant manifestation of evil called Calamity Ganon appeared above Hyrule Castle. But this isn't current-day Hyrule, where all you have to defend yourself are pot lids and pointy sticks. This is 10,100 years in the future. I mean the past. Back when the Hylians had futuristic light swords, giant robots, and tablets that could probably still download Flappy Bird. So Ganon immediately got mollywopped. 10,000 years go by and Ganon is ready and raring for Resurrection Round 2. The problem is, all of those uber powerful Sheikah weapons had been outlawed, so the current King of Hyrule ordered them to be reinstated, in preparation for the upcoming Ganon Smackdown. He also orders his daughter to stop enjoying life and train harder, because she's the next in line to inherit the typical Zelda sealing away Ganon powers. But she spends all of her time building robots. Like a nerd. It also doesn't help that her bodyguard Link easily mastered the powers of the Master Sword, the blade that does super effective damage against Ganon, and became the hero of courage, giving Zelda a bunch of pressure to succeed that ultimately keeps her from unlocking her true powers. By orders from King Daphnis, Zelda, Link, third wheel bodyguard Impa, and inventor of magical Wii U Purah go on a journey across Hyrule in order to find 4 worthy champions that can pilot the 4 ancient giant robots called the Divine Beasts. There's Mipha, a Zora that was Link's childhood friend that fell in love with him upon seeing his nippleless body, basically filling out all the checkboxes of how not to get laid in a Zelda game. Urabosa, a Gerudo warrior chief whose town has outlawed any men from coming inside, so I'm not sure how they're, like, reproducing. Garuk, he he eats rocks, I guess. There's really not a whole lot to his character. And Ravioli, the smug Rito archer that no one really wants around, but no one has the heart to ask him to leave. And so, everything was set in place for Ganon's resurrection party. One problem. No one considered that Ganon could, remember how he got wrecked last time, and upon his resurrection, he immediately possessed all of the advanced Sheikah technology with his evil magic, and used them to destroy Hyrule. Link gets 1v5'd by some possessed robots, while the champions get slain by Ganon's blight monsters. On the bright side, Zelda finally unlocks her powers. Could have been useful, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. Impa and the Sheikah take Link to a cryo-sleep chamber to heal from his wounds. They also strip him down to his undies. For plot reasons, I'm sure. Zelda goes to 1v1 Ganon, and ends up trapping them both inside of an egg sac thing inside of Hyrule Castle, until Link can recover from his injuries. 100 years pass, and Link's Zelda-themed alarm goes off, meaning that it's time for his nude butt to go save Hyrule. However, he lost all of his memories, and his hearts, and other pointy accessories, meaning that it's a long ways until he's ready to take on the giant demonic pig snake thing. So the ghost of the King of Hyrule sends him on a mission to prove his courage by entering ancient Sheikah temples and completing puzzles that range from just put the ball in the hole to there are 15 holes and 7 balls. Each row is associated with a constellation that has a set number of stars, and hey, don't just Google the answer, stop! To receive spiritual blessings from these emancipated old Sheikah, who I guess have just been chilling here for the past century, so that Link can gift their blessings to the goddess Hylia, in order to expand his hearts and hopefully have enough to not give himself a hernia while pulling out the Master Sword. He must also travel to the 4 corners of Hyrule, and clean up all of the evil monsters that are plaguing the divine beasts, so that the spirits of the dead champions can regain control and take aim at Ganon inside of his egg sac. Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we just drop Vah Ruta on Hyrule Castle and call it a day? I'm just saying, I've played Age of Calamity. I know this thing is capable of way more than firing a small laser pointer. Along his journey, Link is helped by a whole lot of quirky and interesting personalities. There's Sidon, the Zora prince that gets shipped with Link even more so than his sister. Yunobo, Link's Goron friend that he uses as a living artillery to fire at the divine beast. Riju, a Gerudo princess who's a collector of vintage Sand Seal merch. What's his name? I think he had 2 lines of dialogue in the entire game, who cares? Along with Impa, but she's now 100 years old. And Purah, but she's now 100 years old. Wait, hold on, I read that wrong. But she's now 5 years old. Is there anyone else I'm missing? Impa has a daughter now that's also into Link, because who isn't in this game? Sometimes when you check under a rock, you'll find a Korok, which is cool. Beetle is here. Oh! Well, Link fights Calamity Ganon, and with help from Zelda granting him light arrows, the two manage to seal him away. And Zelda is like, I have a feeling that he'll be back. Soon. Soon meaning the 6 years that it takes to release Breath of the Wild 2. An unspecified amount of years later, Ganon gloom starts leaking out from under Hyrule Castle. So our blonde baddies take a tour underground only to discover Ganondorf, who's been on a milk cart missing since 2006, and is the source of the gloom and the manifestation of Calamity Ganon itself. An amputated arm falls off of his body, dropping a magical cashew that Zelda pockets for her magical doodad collection. Ganondorf then awakens from his deep slumber and attacks our protagonist with his gloom, deleting Link's entire Breath of the Wild save data, and proceeds to unleash a massive amount of gloom, lifting chunks of Hyrule into the sky and causing the ground below them to crumble. As the two Hylians ragdoll into the abyss, Zelda suddenly disappears in a flash of light, and Link gets saved by an amputated arm which lifts him up into heaven. Awakening on a floating land above Hyrule, Link discovers that his arm has been replaced by the arm of a ghost furry god named Rauru, which lets him do everything that the Purapad let you do in the first game, but significantly better. Oh no, you can't make ice blocks anymore. Well, guess that bumps the game down to a 9.5 out of 10. With Raru's guidance, the two reach the Temple of Time. 9.5 out of 10. Make ice blocks anymore. Well, guess that bumps the game down to a 9.5 out of 10. With Raru's guidance, the two reach the Temple of Time, where Link places the damaged Master Sword, and it gets whisked away in a flash of light. Link then plummets down to the surface, landing in a pool of water that somehow doesn't break his neck, only to discover that on the surface the worst case scenario has happened, as all 800 Koroks have been scattered all around Hyrule once again, meaning all of Link's Korok hunting progress has been pointless. And the four major cities around Hyrule have massive and powerful evil creatures that are causing untold damage to the landscape and the people that are living there. Link's old buddies have changed as well. Impa finally retired at the age of 127 and spends her days looking for hieroglyphs, making Paya the new chief of Kakariko Village. Purah is not 6 anymore, but is also not 106 either, but an appropriate age for lonely dudes online to waifu her. Sidon has a fish wife ruining hundreds of yaoi fanfics. Yunobo is now the chief of Goron City, and has a sick wrestling mask that makes him act cooler for like a hot 5 minutes. Riju got a haircut and also doesn't really talk about sand seals anymore, so I guess she kinda grew out of that phase. And Teba got replaced by his son Tulin. But it was Teba, no one really cared about him anyways. Thankfully, Beetle is still around, and still rocking that slick bowl cut. At least some things never change. While Link is running around Hyrule doing everyone's errands, he comes across pools of dragon tears that Link can use his rewind powers on to recall time and get a glimpse into Hyrule's distant past. Distant past that unfortunately contradicts everything we thought about the Zelda timeline. So yay, another branch, why not? Long ago, Fursonian gods from the heavens called the Zonai descended onto Hyrule to start dating Hylian chicks. The Zonai possessed powerful cashews that would let the user unlock their full potential. For example, Raru possessed the power of light, and his sister Mineru had the power to remove her soul from her body, and these secret stones could be gifted to others as well, like Raru's Hylian wife Sonia, who, with the secret stone in her possession, could manipulate time. With their powers, Raru and Sonia became the first king and queen of Hyrule, and their mixture of genes would mean that Zelda has both the power of light and the manipulation of time, which is why she was able to teleport herself back 1,000 years after picking up Raru's stone under Hyrule Castle. At this point in time, Ganondorf was a Gerudo king who wanted to take over Hyrule, but his army of scantily clad Gerudo ladies got washed every time. And he didn't have an OP stone, so he was no match for Raru in a 1v1. So he schemed up a plan to feign fealty to King Raru in order to steal away a secret stone for himself. Zelda is like, don't trust him, he's evil. And Raru is like, yes, I realize that, but... Ganondorf then created a puppet clone that took the appearance of Zelda, and was able to trick Sonia and take her life along with her secret stone. With this newfound godly power, Ganondorf became the Demon King, and unleashed waves of monsters onto Hyrule. To combat Ganondorf, Raru gifted stones to the 4 strongest warriors of Hyrule, who, alongside Mineru and Zelda, were dubbed the 6 Sages. However, their combined might wasn't enough to defeat the Demon King, and Raru was forced to sacrifice himself, sealing Ganondorf under Hyrule Castle for 1,000 years. But Zelda knew that once those 1,000 years passed, Ganondorf would come back, significantly less hot, but with enough power to easily wreck Link, especially with him lacking the Master Sword. Thankfully, the Master Sword has the shonen protagonist ability to come back even stronger every time it gets destroyed. So, after learning from Mineru that swallowing a secret stone causes the person to become an immortal dragon that could live for thousands of years, Zelda tasked Raru with guiding Link to the Temple of Time, where the broken Master Sword was sent back into her her possession. Zelda then ate the forbidden snack and became a dragon, bathing the Master Sword in her healing light for 1,000 years, repairing it in preparation for Link's battle with Ganondorf. So yeah, Zelda became a dragon, and her tears formed the memory pools that Link visits throughout the story, which was definitely not on my bingo card going into Breath of the Wild 2. And also makes me feel guilty for hitting her a few times with a massive stone club. It's not my fault that her scales sell for hundreds of rupees on the black market. After defeating the boss monsters that guard the sages' temples, each of Link's 4 friends are visited by the sages of their respective lands, and gifted stylish stone accessories, becoming sages themselves, which lets them astral project by Link's side, and grant him their sagely powers. But there ends up being so many of them on the screen at the same time, it becomes impossible to select the right hero at the opportune time. I can't tell you how many times I tried to pick up a Bokoblin dropping and accidentally selected Riju's stupid lightning powers, making my whole screen turn yellow because they won't move out of the frickin' way! Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that alongside the sky, the land, and even the wells and caves if you want to count them, there's also an entire deep underground area to explore. So deep underground that the only light is Ganon's disgusting pus that cakes the entire floor. And if you're like me, you'll spend hours running into dimly lit walls while looking for Link's Ocarina of Time wig, not realizing that those 102 Bright Bloom seeds in your inventory are supposed to be used for this exact situation. It's also down here that you'll find Mineru's soul, sealed inside a robot, making her the 5th sage in your party because why not? There's not enough people following Link around already. After running out of side quests to do, Link finally decides that it's time to pull the Master Sword out of Zelda's head. And this time, the requirement is to have 5 extra stamina, and not 5 extra hearts. Which is convenient because the underground and all of its stupid cliffs made me realize how useful stamina was. So I was totally a stamina main this time around. With the sword that seals the darkness in hand, Link and the sages storm the abyss below Hyrule, on a mission to destroy Ganondorf for at least another 100 years, until he inevitably resurrects again. But that's another Link's problem. But suddenly, Ganondorf goes full-on Bara mode, getting swole as heck, and Link and the Demon King have an epic battle, where I definitely didn't cheese him with bomb arrows, and somehow lucked into beating him with half of a heart. It was an epic battle, just believe me. Well, Ganondorf ain't about to get a sword through his skull like some other chumps, so he removes his secret stone and drops it down the hatch, as a last-ditch effort to defeat Link as a powerful dragon. While he thinks he has the upper hand, Ganondorf fails to realize that Link's girlfriend is also a mile-long powerful dragon. And with Zelda's help, Link is able to jump onto Ganon's body and destroy his bunions, causing him to explode into a comical mushroom cloud. The souls of Rauru and Sonia are then tasked with the most pivotal aspect of storytelling, tying up the loose ends right before the game ends, as they channel their light and time energy through Link, turning Zelda back into her old self and fixing Link's disgusting ghost arm. The two Hylians then plummet 1,000 miles per hour towards the surface. But oh wait, hold on, there's a small pool of water. Okay, they'll be fine. With Hyrule's bi-weekly world-threatening crisis now over, the sages swear to protect Zelda as the new Queen of Hyrule, and Mineru passes on to the afterlife, marking the end of the Zonai. The end of the Zonai and the game. Well, I should probably address the elephant in the room, being that I haven't uploaded in over a year. Basically, I graduated from college and then took some time off to really study and practice art, because I realized that I love doing this, but I want to be faster at doing this, and not have 4-month gaps between uploads. And the reason why I have 4-month gaps between uploads is a combination of being slow at drawing, or I would finish a video and not like how it looked and just scrapped the whole thing entirely. But now I think I'm over the beginner artist learning curve. I don't think I'm amazing, but I've stabilized and can focus less on learning and more on putting out content at a steady pace. Which for me would mean getting a video out every month. And hey, I've got a Splatoon 3 video that I've been working on that's already pretty close to completion, so hopefully y'all will watch that when it comes out within the next couple weeks. Well, I won't keep you too long. This is Breath of the Wild plus Tears of the Kingdom explained in 17 minutes, not 18 minutes. Thank you to everyone who's sticking with me even after this hiatus, and hopefully y'all will continue to watch my videos and I can make your day even a little bit better by saying something funny about a video game you like. Sounds like a deal, right?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be the greatest quarterback of all time, just like you. Do you want this?
Long ago, back when it was a timeline and not a time crossword puzzle, 3 goddesses descended from the heavens and gave birth to the planet. With their work finished, they vanished, leaving behind a magical artifact called the Triforce that can grant any wish to whoever possesses it. Which sounds good on paper, but it pretty much opens Pandora's box for the local demons and crackheads, who are all up and eager to get their hands on those enticing yellow triangles. To escape the hysteria, the goddess Hylia sent all the non-minorities of the world up into the sky to live on a bunch of floating islands called Skyloft. Unable to use the Triforce herself, Hylia had her soul reincarnated as a human girl named Zelda, who traveled down to the surface along with her childhood friend / chosen hero / love interest? Link. And together, they defeated the Demon King, Demise. With his final words, Demise bestowed a curse on the two, promising that his evil spirit would continue to haunt those with the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero. With the surface freed from evil, the humans descended from the clouds and established the Kingdom of Hyrule. They also built the Temple of Time to serve as a connection between Hyrule and the Sacred Realm, a holy land that contains the Triforce and is kept lock and key by the Master Sword, which can only be unsheathed by Link. Moving along on the timeline, we have 2 games that don't really matter. Link fights against some MCR reject called Vadi, that's about it. More importantly, we have the Ocarina of Time, and here's where things start to get spicy. Demise, with his unrelenting levels of salt, gets reincarnated as Ganondorf, a Gerudo king on a mission to take over the world or something. In an effort to thwart Ganon's plans, a new Link unknowingly seals himself in the Temple of Time for 7 years, allowing Ganon a free backstage pass to the Sacred Realm. However, due to having an uneven balance of power, courage, and wisdom, the Triforce was split into 3. The Triforce of Power stayed with Ganon, granting him unmatched strength. The Triforce of Wisdom was sent to Zelda, who obtained Divine Wisdom whenever it's convenient for the plot. Which is never. The Triforce of Courage was sent to Link, who obtained the powers of whatever the developers feel like giving him at the time. Talk to ghosts, turn to a dog, you know. Spoilers, our heroes defeat Ganon and seal him in the Sacred Realm. And because Link was a literal man-child, Zelda sent him back to the past where he can relive his lost childhood. And this is what created the infamous time split. First off, we have the child timeline, which follows Link after he returned to the past and is able to snitch on Ganon before he brings Hyrule to ruin. Secondly, there's the adult timeline, where without Link around to do his hero business, Ganon eventually broke free from his cage and wreaked havoc on Hyrule, forcing the gods to flood the land. And third, we have the fallen hero timeline, where Link either straight up died fighting Ganon, or the player gave up halfway through and decided to go play GoldenEye or something. Ganon is able to obtain the full Triforce, but is sealed in the Sacred Realm before he can really do anything. Following the original Link back to the child timeline, we begin with Majora's Mask, a game that still gives me nightmares thanks to that one creepypasta. You know the one. Link saves the world from a sad homeless kid and is last seen continuing his endless journey to find his missing fairy. Honestly, a pretty depressing ending for our hero of time. Speaking of depression, next is Twilight Princess. After having his plans exposed by young Link, Ganon is on trial to be executed by the 6 sages. Unable to control Ganon, the 6 sages banished him to the Twilight Realm, where he gifted some of his power to a crazy person named Zant, who then used said power to turn the princess of the Twilight Realm into an imp. Which, depending on who you ask, could either be a downgrade or an improvement. With the help of Good Boy Link, Ganon and Zant are defeated, and Midna is able to reclaim her old body and kingdom. Oh yeah, and young Link is in this one too, but like, super dead. Hundreds of years later, Ganon is resurrected along with the MCR reject and a shadow clone of Link as they band together in another failed attempt to destroy Hyrule. The timeline finally ends with Ganon being sealed into the Four Swords forevermore. Okay, let's move on to the adult timeline. After his little sister gets kidnapped, an unrelated but significantly cuter Link sails the Great Seas to rescue her. With a little help from Pirate Zelda, Link manages to save his sister, reassemble the Triforce of Courage, and defeat Ganon once and for all.
Well, in this branch of the timeline at least. Phantom Hourglass follows their pirate adventures directly after and is chronologically only 10 minutes long, so there's not much to say. Sometime later, Pirate Zelda manages to re-establish Hyrule in a far-off island, which brings us to Spirit Tracks, taking place 100 years in the future, where a completely new Link and a completely dead Zelda save new Hyrule from a resurrected evil demon that for once isn't named Ganon. Rounding this train wreck up, we have the I Can't Believe Link is Dead timeline, where Ganon was able to obtain the full Triforce but was imprisoned in the Sacred Realm. Like an evil teabag submerged in the holiness that is the Sacred Realm, Ganon infected it with his dark powers and transformed it into the Dark World. He then attempted to take control of Hyrule by deceiving its people using the form of a totally not suspicious looking wizard man, but was defeated when a new Link rose up to confront him. Link's Awakening takes place directly after, but the entire game ends up just being a fever dream by a flying whale. So... Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons once again features the same Link having to defeat the same Ganon after his grandmothers brought him back to life. A Link Between Worlds is pretty much just a link to the past, except it takes place long after. And the Dark World is called Laurel. And the wizard is a misunderstood artist. And Link is a pain. Okay, it's nothing like A Link to the Past. Zelda's Hot Topic counterpart attempts to steal the Triforce to restore Laurel to its former glory, but is ultimately unsuccessful. Link and Zelda return the Triforce to Hyrule and use it to wish for peace and prosperity for both lands. Triforce Heroes is a continuation of this Link's adventures and is pretty much the filler episode of the timeline. But Link dresses up as a cheerleader, so I guess it's worth its place in the timeline just for that. For a long period of time afterwards, the Kingdom of Hyrule entered an era of peace. That is, until one king decided not to pass down the Triforce to his entitled son, and hid the Triforce of Courage far away, only telling its location to his daughter, Zelda. The prince enlisted the help of the local suspicious old wizard for some gentle persuasion, which resulted in Zelda being put into an eternal sleep. Whoops. With the location of the last cheat force now lost, Hyrule was quickly taken over by Ganon, who after being resurrected 100 times is pretty much just a rabid pig at this point. Before being captured, the current Princess Zelda divided the Triforce of Wisdom into 8 pieces. Before being captured, the current Princess Zelda divided the Triforce of Wisdom into 8 pieces and spread them across Hyrule, setting the stage for a new Link to collect all the shards, destroy Ganon, and save the princess. But not that princess, we're getting to that. Zelda's caretaker Impa informs our hero of the third missing Triforce and the situation with Zelda the First, sparking Link to go on an adventure to obtain it. See what I did there? It's a joke by the title. Returning with the full Triforce, Link is able to awaken Zelda from her eternal slumber, and the two Zeldas fight for dominance over the Kingdom of Hyrule. Okay, that doesn't actually happen, but it'd be cool if it did. Whew, we're finally at the end of the timeline. But wait, there's still one game we haven't discussed yet. Link's crossbow training, Breath of the Wild. Where does Breath of the Wild take place in the timeline? Is it after the ruined timeline, or maybe in the child timeline? Or is it in the adult timeline? Yes. The answer is yes. All three of them. At the same time. The game takes place 10,000 years in the future, where the people have made astounding technological breakthroughs and developed into a super advanced society. Electricity, the telephone, a cure for the common cold, are all things that they should have created. Instead, they just made a bunch of giant robots, which backfires when Ganon rises from the dead and uses them to destroy Hyrule. Thankfully, Yoga Pants Zelda manages to seal him away for 100 years while Link takes the longest power nap in history. Eventually, he wakes up, blah blah blah, destroys Ganon, you know the drill. But wait, where does Breath of the Wild 2 take place? Okay, I'm done. Subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. Oh, and I
Real quick, I want to start doing giveaways on the channel. As a small one to start, I'm giving away a Breath of the Wild DX Link figure about its hero. The boy in green, the wielder of the sword that seals the darkness, bearer of the Triforce of Courage, Link. Link throughout the series has taken on some pretty formidable enemies. Vati, the evil wind mage, Yuga, Lorel's maniacal sorcerer who's the first guy since Shadow Mario to make a paintbrush look threatening. And of course, Ganon, the eternal plague on Hyrule and Link's true nemesis. But while Link has faced and defeated all manner of evil over the course of 33 years of the Zelda series, it's not always the same hero. We've actually played as 12 different incarnations of Link, different people, each with the spirit of the hero, sent by the goddesses.
Horas depois, legal.
O que aconteceu?
Nada, eu chamei vocês pra ajudar a fazer a ficha da Ceci, só que ela não entrou até agora. Ela falou que tava ocupada. E eu não quero ficar sendo chato de uma.
Não tem mais cartão de crédito, mas também não tem mais dívida.
Ah, legal. Querem ver um vídeo comigo Querem ver um vídeo comigo sobre qual link mais forte? Um vídeo de qual link é o mais forte.
Beleza.
Help Hyrule in its time of need.
Porra, eu acho que o mais forte é aquele que morreu, né?
Todos eles morreram.
Que dó.
Todos morreram?
É, cara, todos os jogos. Cada link é um link diferente, na maior parte das vezes.
Não, mas o que morreu em batalha ali, que virou aquele zumbizão lá do Majora Mask. Você lembra aquele Link que morreu na floresta e depois ele vira aquele espírito de Link lá que o outro Link vai lutar?
Ah, o Link do Twilight. O Link do Twilight. Tá falando desse cara aqui?
Porque, se eu não me engano... Enfim, eu não entendo tanto...
Ele não morreu
assim,
em batalha, se eu não me engano, ele só morreu mesmo, não foi em batalha não. Eu não lembro direito, mas é o Link do Ocarina. Quer dizer, do Ocarina e do Majora, já que eles são o mesmo Link. Não, na verdade, depende do que a gente tá falando. Se a gente tá falando de força física, se a gente tá falando de força bruta, se a gente tá falando de qual é mais poderoso, se a gente tá falando de qual é mais forte, tipo, com item ou sem item. Depende muito.
Is strongest. But the peak of their strength, with all...
Oi.
Eu não tenho muito que contribuir de lore pra isso, tá? Eu só sei que tem um Link que fica se fantasiando de Zelda enquanto a Zelda vai se aventurar.
Quê?
Tem um Link que se fantasia de Zelda pra Zelda passear e ela se aventura.
Eu não sei do que você tá falando.
Enfim.
Items and abilities included, which Link is the most powerful hero in the series? Before we start, you can probably tell by the length of this video that it took an insane amount of effort, so a like would be so appreciated, or subscribe if you haven't for more Zelda content. With that aside, grab a snack or something and let's put the links to the test.
Hello.
So we've got 12 links here, in chronological order: the hero of the skies from Skyward Sword, the hero of the Minish from Minish Cap, the hero of the Four Sword from Four Sword.
Oi.
Se eu não fosse criar um Blood Fiend, você conhece o Cris de Deltarune, né?
Mas você já tinha feito uma ficha antes da gente decidir que ia reutilizar a sua ficha de Blood Fiend.
Mas tipo, se eu não fosse reutilizar, eu iria criar uma... Só me responde.
Você não fez a porra da pergunta, como é que eu vou responder?
Eu falei se você conhece o Cris de Deltarune.
Claro.
Eu ia criar um Cris de Deltarune 2, mano.
Legal.
Que eu tô
The hero of Time from Ocarina of Time, and then in the Downfall timeline, the hero of Legend from A Link to the Past, the Oracle Games and Link's Awakening, the new hero of Hyrule from A Link Between Worlds and Trials.
Quem faz o que, onde,
acho
quando?
Que eu achei que você ia falar um foda-se.
Por que eu faço muito?
Falar muito foda-se.
Ah, eu faço muito isso porque às vezes as pessoas não entendem que eu tô tentando ver a porra de um vídeo e que eu genuinamente não me importo com o que elas estão falando. Mas eu não... Desculpa, a gente não é muito paciente às vezes.
Tudo bem.
Eu tô desenhando a coisa na tua... Ah, você sabe o que eu tô fazendo.
A meta?
Sim. Eu desisti de fazer ela de corpo inteiro porque eu tava com preguiça, então eu tô fazendo ela versão em batalha. Sabe o chibizinho em batalha?
Sei.
É. Triforce heroes, and the hero of Hyrule from Zelda 1 and Adventure of Link. Then in the child timeline, the hero of Twilight from Twilight Princess and the hero of Light from Four Swords Adventures, and finally the adult timeline with the hero of Winds from the Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass, and the hero of Spirits from Spirit Tracks, and then at the end of everything we've got the hero of the Wild from Breath of the Wild.
Você não fez isso.
So here are the competitors. Let's see which one's best. Obviously, although each Link is an entirely different person from one another, they're all incarnations of the hero. The only different things like looks, age, and the items they have at their disposal. So let's break down what makes each Link different from one another and rank them on the following categories. Physical attributes. This means a Link's age, size, endurance, etc. For example, Twilight Princess Link is a farmer in his late teens, meaning he's likely to be far stronger and have better stamina than, say, the hero of Winds, who's just a kid from an island. Next up, item arsenal. Link's famous for it. In every Zelda game, he collects and uses a whole army's worth of weaponry and tools. We'll only look at items that are somehow usable in combat here, so no Gust Bellows or Zora Flippers. Another thing to note is I'll allow all Links access to all items they've ever obtained, meaning the Hero of Time can use items from both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. The third category we'll use to rank the Links is skill, which means how good they are with the sword or the bow, or whether they have any Knights training, for example. So Breath of the Wild's Link, as Zelda's chosen knight, would have a solid advantage in this area over other Links. And finally, experience. How many adventures has this Link been on? How many monsters fought and beaten? And how powerful were the villains slain by this hero? Experience matters just as much as how physically strong a Link is. So here are our categories on which we're going to rank the Links: physical, items, skills, and experience. Let's head to Hyrule and see which hero is the strongest.
Entendeu? Max, sabe aquele corno que eu tava ajudando a fazer os eventos de xadrez?
First off, in our little Link ranking, the locomotive legend, the hero of spirits. This Link lives in New Hyrule, a young engineer's apprentice who lives with Nico. Over his adventure, he defeats Chancellor Cole and ultimately Malladus, the Demon King. In terms of physical attributes, this Link ranks quite lowly. I mean, he's a kid. He's seemingly around a similar age to the hero of Winds. We never see any particularly impressive feats of strength from him though, but his background as an apprentice engineer makes him probably slightly stronger than an average child, but still a lot weaker than other older Links. In terms of his item arsenal too, this Link really struggles. He wields the Locomo sword, which is vastly inferior to some other Link swords like the Master Sword, and he has the Shield of Antiquity, which is the same shield used by the hero of Winds in Phantom Hourglass, though it can't be upgraded in this game. He can use the basic boomerang, a whip, up to 30 bombs, and a bow with up to 50 arrows, the sand wand, the spirit flute, and the bow of light, although it's pretty weak in this game, no stronger than a bomb and only twice as strong as a normal arrow. Skills-wise, the hero of spirits actually isn't too bad. He can use swordsman's rolls in the game, which allow him to shoot sword beams out of the Locomo sword with full health, as well as use the great spin attack, but otherwise nothing else. Experience-wise, yet again, this guy really doesn't have much going for him. Spirit Tracks is his only adventure, during which he travels across New Hyrule, taking on Chancellor Cole and Malladus. Malladus is a powerful villain, but doesn't really hold a candle to some of the other villains in the series.
Aí eu peguei troféu de segundo do evento dele também que eu tinha, também que
from, well,
a medalha eu passei pra frente.
While he's technically just one hero, this Link is famous for his ability to use the Force Sword to split into 4 copies of himself: green, red, blue, and purple Link. Over the course of his adventure, these 4 Links defeat Vati, who'd been sealed in the Force Sword by the hero of the Minish during the Minish Cap. First off, physical attributes. Most of this Link's power comes from the fact he can split himself into 4, but as a single hero, he's really not any more powerful than the hero of spirits, still just a young kid. We don't know anything about his past, but we don't see any particularly impressive feats of strength, so we can just put him around the same as the hero of spirits. However, this Link does have a better item arsenal. Of course, the Force Sword is an incredibly powerful legendary blade, far superior to the Locomo sword, and its ability to split him into 4 makes him physically quite powerful. It augments his physical attributes, multiplying them by 4 times, as there's 4 of him. In Four Swords, all Links share the same heart containers, however, meaning damaging one clone will harm all 4. He can use the bombs, basic boomerang, bow, the Nat Hat, which allows him to become tiny, the magnetic glove, the Chain Chomp, which is a volatile but powerful item that damages not only enemies but also other Links. He also has even more items which augment his physical attributes, such as the Pegasus boots, which grant him incredible speed, and the Rocks cape, which allows him to jump, an ability which few Links possess. However, each Link clone can only use one item at a time. Overall, this Link's arsenal is versatile and powerful, with the 4-sword, Rocks cape and Pegasus boots giving him the ability to jump, incredible speed and the strength of 4 Links. In terms of skill though, this Link falls behind a bit. They don't learn any special abilities, and having 4 Links doesn't make the original any more skilled with a sword or a bow. He can just use basic Link skills like the spin attack, but other than that it's just the basic horizontal swipe. Experience too he struggles in. He only has one adventure, which is one of the shortest in the series, and only faces Vati, who's an admittedly powerful villain, but less so than others in the series. Next up, the first Link chronologically in the Zelda timeline, the Hero of the Skies. This hero was born on Skyloft, ages after the first warrior's demise. At the start of his adventure, he's a young adult. He's physically very fit and is a student at the Knight Academy. He can also climb, which is something that few Links can, and sprint, albeit both at the cost of stamina. Link in this game is physically very powerful. Without any strength boosting items, we see him perform feats like lift and use the giant swords of Koloktos during its boss battle, or shield bash blows from Demise. In terms of items, Skyward Sword has a decent arsenal at his disposal. With the true Master Sword and Hylian Shield, he's got the most powerful sword and shield we've seen so far in this little list, a heavy-duty tunic which includes chainmail for added protection, the Fire Shield earrings which protect him from extreme heat and some fire attacks, the bow which can be upgraded to the powerful Sacred Bow with a quiver that holds up to 50 arrows, the double claw shots, a bomb bag with up to 40 bombs, and the whip. This Link is pretty well kitted out. This Link also ranks pretty solidly with his skills. He's trained by Aegis at the Knight Academy, and can use techniques such as the spin attack, shield bash, and fatal blow, and he's able to hold his ground in a straight up sword fight with both Girahim and Demise. He can also use techniques like the Skyward Strike, as well as conducting lightning through his sword. And finally, in terms of experience, the Hero of the Skies suffers in that Skyward Sword is his only adventure. Despite this though, he's shown to be very intelligent with a perfectly balanced heart, evidenced by him being able to wish upon the Triforce without it separating, and the fact that after the game he founded Hyrule alongside the princess. This Link also stood toe to toe with Demise, the literal source of all evil in the Zelda universe, defeating him in single combat, so major points for that. Alright, next up, the third hero to wield the Four Sword canonically, the Hero of Light from Four Swords Adventures. Again, there's nothing particularly impressive about this Link's physical attributes, similar to the Heroes of Spirits and the Four Sword. Item-wise though, he actually has an insanely powerful arsenal. Like before, he wields the Four Sword, allowing him to split into 4 copies, thus multiplying his physical advantages by 4 times, and these ones don't share heart containers like last time, making him more durable. He also has use of the blue bracelet, though is a temporary item, as well as the bomb, boomerang, bow, fire rod, and hammer. They can use the power bracelets too, which augment their physical strength, though again it's just a temporary item. Like the Hero of the Minish, this Link can use the Pegasus boots to grant incredible speed, and the Rocks feather to jump, further augmenting his physical attributes. Both can actually be upgraded during the game, allowing Link to jump over large gaps with the boots, and double jump with the feather. But unlike his item arsenal, his skills aren't anything particularly impressive. He lacks the options for different sword strikes and bow aiming that the Hero of the Skies has, and doesn't learn hidden technique, instead just performing basic moves. Experience-wise though, this Link actually isn't too bad. While Four Swords Adventures is his only game, he defeats not only the Wind Mage Vati.
Eu até quero jogar, mas eu queria mostrar pra vocês e o Supremo não entra.
Ah, mestre sem ele, pô. Vamos dizer que ele
vocês estavam todos juntos, um de vocês não vai só sumir do nada. Ainda mais considerando que o Supremo foi o que ela quis levar.
É, ela levou o Supremo. Depois... Cara, você não precisa ser uma timeline fixa.
Não, claro, eu não faço a timeline fixa. Já teve várias vezes que eu quebrei a timeline. Eu tô dizendo só na questão, tipo, não tem nada antes Quer dizer, eu até poderia, mas esse seria o Koichi solo, tá ligado? Você não tem nada que eu possa fazer pra você fora da timeline por enquanto, e o Koichi seria solo.
Sozinho. Alone
Ou,
forever.
ou... Rapaz, talvez eu tenha uma coisa boa pra vocês.
O quê?
Da famosa sem sistema nenhum.
Sei não, hein.
Maximus.
Oi.
E
Pode me chamar de,
Gregor.
pode chamar de Koichi. Koichi. Ou
Vocês vão ter que escolher entre par ou ímpar.
Ímpar.
tá, par.
Par. Koichi, escolhe anjo ou demônio?
Anjo, por causa da alma do Cristo e Delta Ruim.
Então você vai ser um personagem meio anjo. Agora você.
Rapaziada, vocês estão vivos?
Eu tô vivo. Ô, gerente, retransmite a tela aí, por causa que eu não tô conseguindo ver.
A minha tela morreu, eu acho.
Aê, consegui. Consegui.
Completely, but also defeats the King of Darkness Ganon, sealing him in the Foresword. Next up, the hero of the Minish, the young Link who saved Hyrule from Vati's wrath for the first time. Compared to the hero of the skies or the hero of Twilight, this Link is physically a lot weaker. Although he's an apprentice blacksmith, he's one of the youngest Links, similar in age to the hero of spirits or the Foresword. What he lacks in physical attributes though, this Link more than makes up for with his item arsenal. While he lacks the Master Sword and Hylian Shield, instead having the slightly inferior Four Sword and Mirror Shield, this Link can use the magical boomerang, up to 99 bombs, the bow with 99 regular arrows including the sacred light arrows. And similar to the hero of the Four Sword, this hero can split into 4 copies of himself. Though they can't act independently of one another, they can combine to give this Link 4 times his normal strength, allowing him to push large objects he normally wouldn't be able to. Like with Four Swords, these 4 Links all use the same heart containers, and if you move into a wall, the clones vanish. He also has access to the Rock's Cape, which allows him to jump, and the Pegasus Boots, which allow him to run at superhuman speeds. Like other Links, these two alter his physical attributes. While he himself is physically weak and less athletic than the hero of the skies, these 2 items allow him to move quicker and with more agility. In terms of skills, this hero shines. While he's not trained at a Knight's Academy, instead just an apprentice blacksmith, throughout the game he can learn from the Tiger Scrolls taught by the Blade Brothers. Through this training, he's able to learn the Spin Attack, Sword Beam, Dash Attack, Peril Beam, Rock Breaker, Roll Attack, Down Thrust and the Great Spin Attack techniques, putting him as easily one of the most skilled Links when it comes to swordplay. In experience though, this Link isn't too great. While he saves Hyrule from Vati, travelling through the land as both a full-sized hero and a minute Picori, the Minish Cap is his only adventure, giving him a disadvantage when it comes to experience. The adventure is a lot larger in scope though than Four Swords, giving him a slight edge, but Vati is a far weaker villain than Ganondorf or Demise. Right, next up a fan favourite, the teenage hero of Twilight from Twilight Princess. First off, physical attributes, and man, this Link was actually a complete beast.
Então,
He's
Link, você conhece o Ariel?
Começamos bem.
O anjo Ariel da Bíblia?
O Ariel não tá... Tem Ariel na Bíblia? Porque sinto que parei.
Não, pera.
Koichi, eu já contei essa história milhares de vezes, Koichi.
Ariel.
Meu personagem. Meu personagem que se tornou um deus.
Ele tá falando de Bíblia.
Meu personagem que sobreviveu a todas as mirabolices da cabeça do gigante.
Eu tinha 13 anos na época, chat. Eu tinha 13 anos na época, chat. Dá um desconto.
Ah, você tá de cima de verdade.
Hã?
Que quando eu mestrar, que agora que já tá decidido que você vai ser meio demônio e o Koichi vai ser meio anjo.
Quando que eu aceitei isso? Tá bom, né?
Quando você rolou o dado e o Koichi ganhou.
Eu não rolei dado nenhum, cara. Oxi, caralho.
Aliás, eu rolei o dado. Você escolheu o ímpar, ele escolheu o par.
Ah, tá.
Eu rolei um
Porra, você não
D4.
explicou nada.
Eu rolei um D4, você perdeu. Aí, o que acontece é que vai ser uma trama do Ariel.
Como assim, velho?
Só que agora você tá distraído pela stream.
Como assim?
Deixa eu ver o que você tá desenhando.
Eu tô desenhando no celular, cara.
One of the oldest links we've seen, giving him a strong physical advantage over most others, being a late teenage farmer. He's lean and muscular, and one thing to note is that without any items to increase his physical attributes like the power bracelets, this Link was able to wrestle Ordonian goats, Gorons, and even challenge the strength of Phyrus. Hell, in the duel versus Ganondorf, we can see this Link push back the King of Evil, who wields the Triforce of Power in a sword lock. In terms of raw physical strength, this Link is an absolute beast, and no other hero comes close. However, this absolute monster of a hero is let down by his item arsenal. While varied and useful, he lacks the insanely powerful items that other Links bring to the table. He doesn't have the Pegasus boots for speed, or an item to augment his already incredible strength, meaning he actually ends up weaker than Links who do have items like the power bracelets. The hero of Twilight can use the ball and chain, again just due to his incredible physical strength, up to 60 regular bombs, the bow with 100 arrows, the double claw shots, the gale boomerang, and the Hawkeye, which allows him to aim his bow with pinpoint accuracy, and he wields the Master Sword and Hylian Shield. One interesting item the hero of Twilight can use is the Magic Armor, which when worn makes him completely invulnerable to all attacks. Instead of draining hearts, you lose rupees when hit. This item is ridiculously powerful, and in the HD remake you can have up to 9,999 rupees, meaning the hero of Twilight can be invulnerable for quite a long time. However, even when not being hit, the armor drains your rupees at a rate of 2 per second, meaning that he can't remain invincible indefinitely. This limits this item from being instantly one of the best in the series. Skills wise, the hero of Twilight is also no slouch. The hero's shade trains Link personally, the only time a previous hero has passed on his knowledge to his successor. Through the hero's shade, the hero of Twilight can learn the Ending Blow, Shield Attack, Back Slice, Helm Splitter, Mortal Draw, Jump Strike, and Great Spin, easily making him one of the greatest swordsmen among the Links. And finally, experience. Twilight Princess was obviously this hero's first and only adventure, though it is long and arduous, and he defeats not only Zant but Ganondorf, killing him for good with the Master Sword. The original hero from the very first two Zelda games, the hero of Hyrule. This Link defeated Ganon in Zelda 1 as well as prevented his resurrection and woke the sleeping Princess Zelda in Adventure of Link. Physically, he's nothing particularly special, although he's stronger than most child Links as a result of him being a young adult in Zelda 2, and can jump in that game, making him both more physically powerful and agile than most Links. And adventuring through both Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 means that this Link's kitted out heavily. He wields the Magical Sword, which is the most powerful sword in games that don't feature the Master Sword. He has the magical boomerang, bombs, bow along with the silver arrows which are twice as powerful as normal ones and can kill Ganon, the magical rod which can shoot fire, the blue ring which halves damage taken, the red ring which doubles damage output, the power bracelet which increases his physical strength and allows him to move heavy rocks, and the handy glove which allows him to crush stone blocks with his sword. He also has access to powerful spells like Jump, increasing his agility, Shield, increasing his durability, the ability to turn into a fairy, shoot fireballs, reflect projectiles, and most powerful of all, summon a thunderstorm that heavily damages all enemies on screen. Skills wise, this Link is slightly superior to most others. In Zelda 1 he can only slash his sword and shoot sword beams, but in Zelda 2 he can perform multiple techniques like the downward thrust and jump thrust. And obviously being in 2 games, the hero of Hyrule is more experienced than many other Links. He faced and defeated Ganon in single combat, as well as defeating the Thunderbird and his own shadow in order to obtain the Triforce of Courage. Next, we've got a fan favorite.
Não, vai se fuder, vocês não falam, vocês não me chamaram, cara. Eu achei que vocês estavam me ignorando ou esperando alguma coisa.
A gente tava te esperando terminar o vídeo.
Ah, porra, você podia só falar comigo, né, cara?
Enfim. Eu posso fazer a one shot agora.
Medo.
Vamos pensar o seguinte. Qual seria o problema que vocês teriam que solucionar? É porque
acabou a cachaça de vinho da Ariel.
Acabou a cachaça de tomar no seu.
Tá errado, porra.
Ele não é cachaceiro.
Pô, cara, então eu fiz ele errado. Porque pra mim ele bebe hidromel toda hora. Ambrósia, hidromel é a mesma coisa.
Hidromel é uma bebida alcoólica, ambrósia é a bebida dos deuses.
Dá no mesmo.
É o licor divino.
Ué, e tá errado? E tá errado?
Meu amigo.
Oi.
Eu Supremo.
Me chamaram, né? Então eu vim aqui conferir.
Bom, já que tá todo mundo aqui, eu posso mestrar. É que o Léo ia fazer uma one shot pra gente. Eu ia mestrar, mas eu ia começar a fazer uma shot pra gente agora.
Não, você mestre. Eu vou pensar o one shot com carinho, tá?
Tá bom,
eu vou fazer.
Eu vou só mostrar o progresso pra vocês do desenho que eu tava fazendo antes de eu.
Tá bom.
Mandar aqui o progresso pra vocês verem. Peraí, eu tô em live?